It's wonderful to be here with IFSS, and this is what Patri ji is. He is a spiritual scientist, and IFSS stands for that scientificness of Patri ji, because he himself is a spiritual scientist, and he always emphasized on the approach of scientificness in spirituality. So today and tomorrow, my dear friends, we will study about spiritual abundance. Part 1 and part 2 will be completely, totally spiritual abundance, because as I've already mentioned, that energy flows from above and not from down below. It always flows, whenever we do meditation, it always flows from the Sahasrara to the Mooladhara. So the energy is distributed from above. So that is what we're going to start with. So my dear friends, what is spiritual prosperity? We are going to start with the definition of prosperity, and I would like to ask everyone to please kindly switch on your videos so that, I feel like I'm talking to you rather. So, yes, so spiritual prosperity expresses itself as 12 virtues, and if you develop them, bring them into your spiritual awareness and manifest them, you are the most prosperous person in the world. And there are 12 virtues that we need to build that awareness of, develop them, cultivate them, and manifest them. That is when you will become a totally abundant person. So these are the these are the 12 virtues that we will be talking about. Today we'll be talking about 6 virtues, and tomorrow we'll be talking about the rest of the 6 virtues, because there are lots to discuss about these virtues today and tomorrow. So if you might want to take a screenshot of this, you can take it, because we will be discussing about all this 12 today and tomorrow. I just have lots of material in front of me, which I'm going to discuss with you also about. And we have seen the list of virtues. What are those virtues? The sense of beauty, the sense of universality, sense of direction, sense of righteousness, sense of purity, and sense of joy and enthusiasm are what we are going to discuss today. Let us understand these virtues in a broad manner. And so these are the 12 gates of kingdom of God. And if you have these 12 senses of virtues, you are the most wealthy and prosperous person on earth, spiritually. And it is this manifestation of the spiritual prosperity that increases the prosperity in your mental life, in your emotional life, and your physical life. And people try to be prosperous from the wrong end, from the bottom up. We try to become prosperous from the wrong end. And physical prosperity always and in all circumstances brings suffering and pain if the spiritual manifestation of prosperity does not exist for us. It does not exist for us. So the first ever virtue that we are going to discuss today is the sense of beauty. The sense of beauty, my dear friends. How much do we understand as to what beauty stands for? What is beauty? Where does beauty lie? Is it in your eyes? Is it in your mind? Is it in your heart? Is it in your physical body? The way your face is? Where does the beauty lie? This sense must be developed in both children and adults, my dear friends. Both, because beauty standards are very, 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 they are the most wrong method of defining beauty. How do you define beauty? Is it looking like Aishwarya Rai or Sushmita Sen? They are very beautiful. But then beauty surpasses the physical aspect. So the sense of beauty is the ability to see each human being and in each life form of beauty. That is beauty, my dear friends. It sees beauty. It hears beauty. And the sense of beauty is the ability of the soul to come in contact with the future in any form. And this might sound strange to you, and it is strange, but the future in any form is beauty. And some people do not yet have this sense. It comes into being and formation as a result of age-long sacrificial service to the common good in many lives. How does it, how can one become beautiful, my dear friends? And as a person, as we try to start sacrificing ourselves for greater service, our beauty will shine out. I will always quote Patriji as an example. I will always quote Patriji as an example. And as the beauty actualizes, the sense of beauty comes into being. And as the sense of beauty begins to operate, the person finds himself surrounded with beauty. And when beauty increases in life, ugliness decreases and eventually, poof, gone. How does ugliness appear in our life? It appears in our life as, his thoughts, words, and in every relationship that we have. Ugliness manifests itself. And how do we change that ugliness into beauty? The sense of beauty will urge him to use money, time, and energy to create or increase the beauty in the world. And there are many people who cannot see beauty in others and in themselves. Sometimes we resent ourselves, we condemn ourselves that I'm not beautiful. Why? Why aren't you beautiful? You are beautiful. They are very sharp in seeing ugly things in people and in nature. Do you condemn everyone? Do you see faults in everyone? Why? And we say that such people do not have a sense of beauty. And when one concentrates on ugliness and keep ourselves busy with ugliness, we cannot grow. And spiritual growth is only possible when a person starts to see the beauty within ourselves and others. You know what true poverty is? True poverty is ugliness and rejection. Beauty is abundance and attraction. Beauty increases your joy and vitality. And ugliness increases your negativity and the chance of self-defeat. Yesterday, one lady was asking me, why can't we share the negative, how do we share the negative thoughts or attitudes with others? When you increase the beauty in you, that ugliness goes away. What do you do when you get corona? Do you go and spread it out everywhere? No, you don't. You sit alone inside, you isolate yourself, you quarantine yourself, you get healed, you get a negative in your report, and then you come out. You don't spread your virus to everyone and make everyone sick just because you're sick. You become beautiful, spread that beauty. If you have ugliness inside you, don't spread it. As simple as it's a virus. We are sick. We need to isolate ourselves. We need to heal ourselves and then come out. And we can talk to our children about beauty and lead them into worship of beauty. And it is wonderful to express our admiration for the flowers, trees, animals, for the sunshine, for the sunrise, for the beauty of noble works, for the beauty of human creativity, heroism, and for the beauty of the stars. When was the last time you did stargazing? Been onto the terrace or in the forest or something. Just lie down and do stargazing. When was the last time you did? Why are we so disconnected with nature? Try it. Maybe today or tomorrow, sometime in the weekend, go to your terrace. Just take your bed sheet or pillow or something, go there and just do stargazing. It's so beautiful to do that. And for the beauty of expressions of love, honesty, and sincerity. And once our children see beauty, they will start to open like flowers to enjoy all beauty. And the greatest protection in children is their sense of beauty. And with the sense of beauty, they will discriminate and never, ever, ever fall into the traps of the ugliness in these three bodies. And the sense of beauty is an ever-refining measure which will reveal the true values of all that is going on around the child or young adult. And the sense of beauty will give him the right to reject, to say no to the things that fall below the standards of beauty. The sense of beauty is a great treasure, my dear friends, a source of abundance in the human being, about which many of us are unaware. I'm sorry. It's a great gift and treasure because it leads to success, to right relationships and honesty, and to health and harmony. Ugliness causes distortion in our aura, my dear friends, and physical system, because our system exists only in the foundation of harmony. Everything is distorted because of ugliness. And what do? We need to go to quarantine, as simple as we need to isolate ourselves, get healthy, and come back. And we can cultivate the sense of beauty by every day observing a painting or a beautiful flower or a beautiful person, or walking near the trees and mountains for 15 minutes, my dear friends. Why can't we do that? Why don't you go out in the garden and smell the flowers? Just watch it. Consciously enjoying the beauty. And the person who contacts beauty for 15 minutes daily will have abundant psychic energy, joy, and the spirit of striving. Every day we consume so much energy through news or through ugliness, through the watching all the things that are there which are ugly. Why? Why can't we fill ourselves with beauty? Beauty focuses on the creative energies of nature and transmits them to you. Through beauty, you come in contact with the creative energies of nature, and beauty uplifts you. And from that uplifted level, you have a greater perspective to manage your life properly and wise. And before you accumulate money, you must have the sense of beauty, my dear friends. This may sound strange, but and the sense of beauty is one of the greatest safeguards for the right use of money. The right use of money. And many people increase the ugliness in the world because of their money, because they do not know any better. So, my dear friends, let us increase the sense of beauty. That is the first virtue for spiritual abundance. And the second virtue of spiritual abundance is the sense of universality. Second virtue, universality. What is universal? And we also need to cultivate the sense of universality before we are trained how to make money. Money is powerful energy, and before a man owns that energy, we must have the sense of beauty and the sense of universality. And unless we have these great and precious gifts, we will use the money for wrong ends, to increase ugliness and to create cleavages and separatism between people. And the sense of universality will guide people away from selfish interests. We will think in terms of helping others with all that we have, instead of using the money to make people work to increase their pleasures and selfish interests. Money is used as an agent of exploitation, my dear friends. If the owner lacks the sense of universality, the sense of universality makes a person harmless, sacrificial, loving, and beautiful. And the sense of universality expands a man's consciousness because it challenges him to approach people and problems from inclusive viewpoints instead of separative viewpoints. And the sense of universality makes a person a citizen of the universe and develops an co-measurement and equilibrium. And after the person develops a sense of co-measurement, he will use the money to bring more beauty, goodness, truth, and justice everywhere, instead of making the money a means to satisfy his lust, uncontrolled appetites, and vanities. Do you relate with this? Do you resonate with this? How is money used? Just imagine if I buy clothes for myself one day and I buy clothes for somebody else the other day. Which of these 2 days will give you more happiness? I'm not asking you to buy clothes for everyone every day, but just feel that happiness when you do that, when you do such kind of things. Universality. And the sense of universality makes a person a citizen of the universe and develops in him co-measurement and equilibrium. Co-measurement, my dear. It's a very, very important topic. And if rich people had the sense of universality, most of the miseries would be cleaned away from the human life. And all miseries and suffering exist in the world not because of lack of things, but because the things are owned by separative intentions, by greed, and by identification with material values. Everything is material around us. And it's very easy to get attracted to material values. Because material values cater to our 3 bodies, lower 3 bodies, physical, emotional, and mental bodies. But here we are trying to get into the soul level so that we become abundant, and then abundance flows through all these 3 bodies as well. So we give value not only to materialistic, items, but also to virtues. And the sense of universality paves the way for universal sharing. Can you imagine yourself sharing everything with the universe? And the universe is sharing everything with you. Sharing starts with you, my dear friends, not with the universe. I want everything. Yes, but you give now something. Exchange. What are you exchanging it with? So some people do not have the furniture or the material objects that we have. Not because they are poor, but because they think that luxury is a violation of the natural laws and the offspring of greed. They feel more comfortable in simplicity and in economy. Patriji, he never went for luxury. He always went for simplicity. So, luxury in the esoteric sense is overaccumulation and overabundance of things you're not able to use. And unfortunately, people prefer overproductivity and they enjoy the pollution and poison created by overproductivity and poverty. Remember Gandhiji. Gandhiji was a great sage and India was his treasury. But he dressed and lived in the utmost simplicity. He did not want to rob nature. Man can live without luxury longer than with luxury. Comforts and luxuries. That is what we are all after, isn't it? How do you picture yourself abundant? When you're comfortable, when you're, when you have all the things that you need, that you have, then you feel that you're abundant. But is that true abundance? So spiritual riches does not create a craving for luxury. If accumulating things is helpful to the economy, why is there inflation and depression? People must learn to live by the law of economy and nature will be more healthy and happy. So my dear friends, do we understand the sense of universality, right? And abundance is not havingness and luxury. Abundance is beingness and simplicity. I repeat this sentence. Abundance is beingness and simplicity, my dear friends. You do not need more than what you need. Why 25 pairs of shoes, 50 shirts, 75 pairs? 5 is enough. How many dresses do you need? How many shoes do you want? How many purses that you need? When you open the closet, it's full of everything. Why so many things? Why? If you know how to keep everything clean, little is enough. And Tortham Sanitarium states an example that he experienced in his life. He had a neighbor who used to make $150 weekly. And every week, she would buy new clothes. And one day, when they were invited to dinner at home, she sat by him and asked, "Do you think my clothes are beautiful?" And he said, "Yes." And he said, "Your clothes are really making a slave out of you." It seems to him, he said that, "It seems to me that you are working only to buy clothes and costumes." And you know what she said? She said, "I knew you were old-fashioned." And he said, to be a man of new fashion does not need to be the slaves of clothes. And by the way, you owe us 2 months rent. Is it? So this is the prevalent psychology, and we work to have, have, have more and more and more, because we are brainwashed that we are rich when we have. We act as if we were rich, even when our pockets are empty, because of the false images that we build in others' minds about ourselves. We have been rich once, but when we are bankrupt, we are not ready to accept that we have become bankrupt, and we still try to carry on that image in everybody else's minds, that I am still rich. And in this case, what does richness mean? Having money, having everything that you used to. Sense of universality is a very, very important aspect to understand, my dear friends. Today's exercise number 1 is to assess, what are you a slave of? What materialistic things are you a slave of? What are you accumulating? What are you hoarding in your life? The materialistic things. And I have a beautiful exercise for you to follow if you can. This will give you a tremendous relief in your mind and your body and everything. The exercise that I am asking you to do is, please give away, throw away, sell away everything that you know don't need in your house, especially in your attics. In the sajja that they say in Hindi. In Telugu, they say atakalu. I know only these 3 languages, so I'm saying only these 3 languages. So we store so many things. We bought so many things in our house, which we don't need. And we kind of justify to ourselves saying that, oh, I might need this one day, so I'm keeping it. Give everything away that you don't need. Live minimally. Live with minimum comforts. Live with no luxury. How many pairs of shoes do you have? How many purses do you have? How many dresses do you have? Give away everything that you don't need, that you don't use, to everyone. Just give it away. Make this a 1-week exercise. Slowly start getting everything down, all the stuff down, and segregate them. What is necessary, what is not necessary, what you might use. Segregate them. And then start giving it away slowly. And after 1 week, you will see a major difference in your mind. A major difference, a major shift will happen in your mind. Just do this exercise. I have only 2 pairs of slippers. 1 shoes, 1 slippers. That's it. How much do you need? How many sandals do you need? How many wallets do you need? How many belts that you need? God forbid if they are leather. Be economical in your life. Be economical in your living. Have a sense of universality. Give your gifts to everyone. The first exercise is, my dear friends, what are you a slave of that you think that you cannot survive without this? That if it's not there with you, you feel like you miss something. What is that one thing that you are a slave of? And the second exercise is, clean up your house. Declutter your house. Declutter your house. Please do that. Keep only those things which you need. Really need. Okay, my dear friends? And that is a sense of universality. And we come to the third treasure of our spiritual self. What is the third treasure? Third treasure is, in man, is a sense of direction. The direction. And the sense of direction must also be cultivated in children so that they do not lose their path when many traps appear in their lives later on. And all our thoughts and feelings and actions collectively must have a goal. They must have a purpose. They must be used to improve our understanding, to strengthen our willpower, to make a breakthrough into subjective realities, to increase our creativity. So I'd like to request everyone to please concentrate or focus on what is being said, because this is true treasure that we are talking about. Write down everything that you feel that you need to learn. That will really help you. All the feelings and all the thoughts and everything, they must have a purpose, and they must be used to improve our understanding, to strengthen our willpower, to know ourselves, and to eventually be ourselves. Do you really know yourself? Are you really being yourself? What is being yourself? Being yourself means being your true, real self. Not your personality, not your emotions, not your mind, not your physical body. What you truly are. When someone says, be yourself, don't change for anybody, you just be yourself. What does that mean? That you do not change your attitudes or personality, do what you want to do. That is what be yourself means in the worldly sense. But what is the meaning of being yourself? Being yourself is being that core of you, that inner self that you are. That is what is being yourself. First of all, we do not know what our self is, what we are. Which self are we? Am I the physical body? Am I the emotions? Am I the mind? Am I my past? Am I my mistakes? Am I my future? What am I? Who am I? So which self that does it refer to when I say be yourself? Is it the ego self? Is it the pain self? Is it the crystallized self? Is it the free self? Is it the joyful self? Which self are we referring to when I say be yourself? Which self do you recognize yourself with? Which self do you identify yourself with? That is what you need to find out. Which self are you? All right. So the sense of direction is the first step. And in the second step, we must dedicate all that we do, have, think, and are to the physical and spiritual welfare of humanity. And the sense of direction will make every kind of potential that you have to be used for the higher advancement and progress of humanity. And the sense of direction challenges you to cultivate your potential so that you are able to render great service on higher and higher levels. Do we know where we are directed towards? What is our path? Where is it leading towards? Do you know which path you are in? Everyone says, yes, I am on the right track. But where does it lead to? What are you carrying within yourself that might distract you, deviate you from your right path? What are you doing every day? What are you thinking every day? What emotions do you carry every day so that you still stay on the same track, on the same path? Consistency, perseverance are very key, my dear friends, as we have learned yesterday. We might lie to ourselves. I am on the right track, but really, are you speaking the right manner? Are you thinking in the right manner? Are you acting in the right manner to still be on the right path? That is what we need to understand about ourselves. Know yourself. Understand yourself. And the sense of direction develops in you if you have a vision. What is your vision? And it is this vision that will challenge all that you know and all that you are to reach your destination. And the sense of direction is the innate ability to hear the call of those who are inspiring us to walk on the path of evolution. Just imagine, I am version 1.0. The future Parinitha is version maybe 3.0, 4.0. You have seen the movie Robo, right? Version 1.2, version 2.2, version 3.2. Right. The future version of Parinitha is version 4.2. All right. So how does the Parinitha version 4.2 inspire the Parinitha version 1.2? How does the future self of me inspire the 1.0 version? The The 4.0 version of Parinitha has already become a Buddha. How does that Buddha, how does that version of me, of the future, inspire me to become that version? How? Set a plan. And this sense of direction is the ability, of the seed to bloom and turn into a flower. A seed will always become a flower. You are a seed. The flower should inspire you to become a flower. And the sense of direction is found when we answer the questions. And what are these questions? I would like to ask you to write down these questions, please. First one is, why am I here? We have already, answered, heard of all these questions, but have you really answered them? Why am I here? What is my ultimate destination? Why am I here? What is my ultimate destination? And the third question is, how can I follow the path of my ultimate destination through the various duties, obligations, responsibilities, and pleasures of the world? So the question is, how can I follow the path of my ultimate destination through the various duties, obligations, responsibilities, and pleasures of the world? And the fourth last question is, can I travel the path using all my opportunities to increase my speed? So can I travel the path using all my opportunities to increase my speed? Do not compare your speed with others, my dear friends. Your speed is your speed. That's it. I have a cycle. Krishnalata has a Mercedes Benz. Can a cycle go in the speed of a Mercedes Benz? Her speed is her speed. My speed is my speed. I only need to focus on how can I earn a Mercedes Benz, and then I can go in the speed of Krishnalata. Earn your Mercedes Benz. Earn it. Then you can go as fast as possible. Why compare ourselves with others? Meanwhile, cribbing, complaining, hating, feeling jealous. Why? Earn it. Who's stopping you to earn it? Earn it. Earn your own karma. Earn your own goodness. Earn your own righteousness. And you will get the Mercedes Benz. Then you go 150, 200, nobody gets. And so these are very heavy questions, my dear friends, and sooner or later we need to answer them with tears or with joy. A person can have a lot of cement, sand, everything, but if that person has no plan, no goal, he cannot build a house. And similarly, one can know a lot of things, but we cannot synthesize them if we do not have a purpose in life. It is a plan, it is a purpose, it is a vision, it is a future that creates goal-fitting activity and enables you to use your knowledge to reach your goal. And the sense of direction is also built within us throughout ages and in many incarnations. Man eventually comes to the conclusion that there is a direction. And one must not go against the direction that his senses record. If he goes against the direction, we will weaken the sense and eventually lose it. When a group, or a nation, it loses its direction, its destruction is very close. Materialism, exploitation, cruelty, coarseness, drug usage, and immense waste on pleasure are the signs of those who have lost their direction. Have we lost our direction? Direction leads to synthesis, to peace, to abundance, to harmony, to cooperation, and to symphony, my dear friends. And symphony means direction and diversity. Whenever you speak, think, or act, the sense of direction whispers in your ear, whether you are cooperating with the sense or neglecting it consciously. People run after objects of their desires without ascertaining if they need them. How often do you go shopping? And why do you go shopping? I'm just bored sitting at home, so I go shopping. At least let me do window shopping. No, I'll just, watch them, in that, in the glass doors. I'll enjoy seeing stuff. I like to see stuff. If I like it, I may buy it. We do not even think before buying it whether we really need it or not. We are so excited when we buy. Oh, we take out the credit card, we take out the cash in our purse, we buy it. We are so happy. That smile in our face, it really, really, it's so big. That grin is so big. When we get back home, we see that thing that we bought and we stuff it somewhere. Why do you shop? Second exercise, shopping. And they are like people who entered the wrong freeway and continue driving on it. And the farther they go, the longer it will take them to find the right freeway, my dear friends. Longer time means loss of time and increased suffering. And the sense of direction is the impression that comes from your brain, from your inner divinity. And if you still do not have a sense of direction, you can find your direction by living in beauty, goodness, and truth. These three are very key, my dear friends. Please be very mindful. Beauty, goodness, and truth. And these three are called the three lights on the path towards right direction. Everything you think, speak, and do must be checked by the light of beauty, goodness, and truth. Parameters of your life. And if you see that your thoughts, words, and actions do not agree with beauty, goodness, and truth, stop there if you want to enter into the path which will lead you to the prosperity and abundance. And abundance is not a situation in which you are flooded with the objects of your desires of your heart. Abundance is not related to possessing or having things, but it is a power and knowledge to get things which you need anytime, any place. And abundance means to know where the field is, and then to have the right to enter the field and pick only those fruits or vegetables which you need. If you are greedy, you will violate the law of abundance and deprive others. And greediness is a desire to collect things which you do not really need. Are you a collector? Are you a hoarder? Or are you a haver? That you feel secure when you have something. You feel happy when you collect something which you do not need. Really? And thus, my dear friends, abundance is the power of right and the awareness of the things that you really need in your life. Abundance turns into scarcity for you when you misuse your right and have more than you need. Abundance is not having, my dear friends. It is a law of economy. We need to follow the law of economy, my dear friends. Be economical in everything that you do. Abundance does not mean you live in a room full of shoes, full of dresses, full of bags, full of gold, full of jewelry. No, it is not that. That is not abundance. Abundance means the law of economy, which gives you the sense of direction. When you know exactly, I go to a shop, I know what I want. I go to a shop, I pick it up and then come back. Simple, that's it. My emotions don't carry me away to all the various shops which I don't want. Have a goal, go to a shop, pick it up, and straight away come home. Simple. And that too only when you need it, what you need, how much ever you need. It's that simple, my dear friends. You just have to master yourself. And the next treasure, my dear friends, the fourth treasure is that a person can have is the sense of righteousness. Righteousness, my dear friends. It's a big, big, big treasure. And most of us in our childhood have this sense and are directed by this sense. But slowly, we lose it and get used to all kinds of lies and injustice that we see around us. And we become a part of it. We lie, we believe lies, we fake it. And there's a word, there's a saying, fake it till you make it. And the great master said, argue for your limitations, and sure enough, they are yours. When we lie and lie and lie, my dear friends, even to ourselves or others, we become that lie. And we start believing that that lie is the truth. And what is that lie that we are living? That is what is the fourth treasure, which is called as righteousness. And as we try to fit ourselves to a life of injustice, we lose our sense of righteousness and eventually work only for our self-interest. And self-interest is not natural for a human being. The human being, in essence, has a sense of justice which makes him think and work for the pure interests of himself and others too. And one cannot gain anything without helping others and being righteous with them. And every kind of unrighteousness is a burden on our shoulders, which makes our ascent difficult and sometimes impossible because it is too heavy. Unrighteousness, my dear friends. Does it bother you? Somewhere in the back of your mind, in your emotions, in your guilt, in your sleep, does it bother you? The sense of justice is a great treasure, my dear friends. And in every act of injustice, we lose our light, our sanity, and our direction. In every kind of injustice, we build a barrier between us and the higher spheres. I would like to repeat this sentence. In every act of injustice, we lose our light, our sanity, and our direction. And in every kind of injustice, we build a barrier between us and the higher sphere. And Patri ji, as he rightly says, we create our own reality. We do so many things outside the world, and we sit in meditation and we say, why am I not able to contact the higher worlds? Why? Everyone else is getting Buddha and Jesus and Krishna. Why am I not able to meet them? Why? Because this is the case. We are not being righteous. So imagine a man who is really rich and can use the money with the sense of direction, with the sense of justice, and with the sense of beauty and universality. He'll be a great blessing for the world. But if he has money without having the sense of direction and the sense of righteousness, he will use his money to destroy the direction of others and eradicate their sense of direction. And as long as he is watched by justice and direction, he cannot enjoy his money the way he wants to enjoy it. And that is how small and large corruptions sneak in and bring widespread degeneration. The sense of righteousness and the sense of direction are great sources of abundance and prosperity in human beings. And when these senses unfold and are active, our courthouses will turn into universities. No one is prosperous in the spiritual sense if he is not righteous, because all that he has done, all that he has, does not belong to him, my dear friends. All that he has is recorded as debts. Assets and liabilities, didn't we understand that when we were in college, school? What is your asset? What is your liability? Your assets are the profit, your liabilities are the loss. And only through righteousness can you own something. And only through righteousness can you give away that which you owned in righteousness. And you cannot give something you did not have, and you have nothing if all that you have collected is because of your lies and exploitation. And to be righteous means to be harmonious with the supervising forces of the nature. The harmony between you and the supervising forces of the universe is the source of your abundance. Real success is only possible if a man is in harmony with the forces of the universe, my dear friend. And any act against these forces will bring great delay to your advancement, prosperity, and the enjoyment of your prosperity. And people are really poor in their prosperity. That prosperity is gained by unrighteous means. And here Dorcam also quotes an example, my dear friends. He says, I was building a house, and one of the carpenters was a Sufi. He used to work 5 hours daily for $10. But when I paid him daily, he would reject the $10 and accept only $9. Okay? So for a few days, he says, I did not question him and said to myself, well, maybe he knows what he's doing. And a month later, when he finished his job, I told him, Dorcom sir says, I told him he could still receive $30 according to our agreement. He said, no, that is the way I work. I do not want to be indebted to God. I always take less so that if I wasted a little time or did something not too perfectly, I do not remain indebted to you and to God. May the Almighty One enable you to enjoy your home. That is what he said, and really that. But what do? I want more than $10. You give me more than $10. I am worth more than that. I deserve more than that. We fight for our rights. But we forget about righteousness. So this was a very heavy lesson for Dorcom, and which he tried to use as far as he could. And this behavior will not be popular on earth. This behavior will not be popular on earth. That is what Dorcom said. And can you imagine what a world of abundance will have if the sense of righteousness is used in all departments of human endeavor? So, the fifth treasure, my dear friends, we come to the fifth treasure. It is the sense of purity. Purity, my dear friends. The sense of purity puts us in contact with that principle in the universe which we call the word, the call, the creative purpose, the essence of life, the pure frequency of the one who is the source of all creation. We all have heard this saying that, enter the kingdom of God. What is the kingdom of God? It is purity. The sense of purity is the link between you and the cosmic self, my dear friends. In whom we live, moves. Are we not a part of that supreme self? Yet, how can we be separate from that person? And what does this sense do in our daily practical life? It attracts physical, emotional, and mental abundance and uses this abundance for the glory of this one life. All that is against unity, and all that is unrighteous, all that has no direction, all that has no beauty, all that has no inclusiveness and universality is impurity. And the one life cannot circulate in impurity. Can you enter a temple with your dirty slippers? You cannot do that. You have to leave your dirty, foul slippers outside the temple, and then only you will be allowed to enter into the temple, my dear. Be pure. Then only you will be allowed to enter into the kingdom of God. So the creative universe of the creative forces of the universe, my dear friends, cooperate with you when your heart is pure, when your thoughts are pure, when your body and environment are pure. You do not have any guilt feelings. You do not have that short circuits in your system. And that makes you healthy, magnetic, industrious, and happy. What really makes you happy, my dear friends? And people have observed that no matter how much technical knowledge they have, how smart they are, how skilled they are in competitions, and how much money or wealth they have, they're still unhappy, miserable, and live in pain and sorrow. And this really puzzles them, isn't it? I have everything I want. Why am I still unhappy? This reminds you of the story of Gautama Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama. And the secret is that they do not have purity, and nothing stands if it is not built on the foundation of purity, my dear friends. You may build it 1,000 times, but the foundation is purity. Unless until your foundation is strong, no building will stay there. And here, another example that Dorcom says, because we understand everything better with examples, isn't it? A millionaire friend once said to Dorcom, I will give all my money, and if it will make my wife really love me, well, he said, money cannot buy pure love. Maybe you can spend all your money to learn what love is. And can you imagine, he said, a man as wealthy as I am, and even his wife does not love him. Your wife is your only salvation to make you find out why nobody, not even your wife, really loves you. Then he says, I tell you again, I will give all my money to gain her love. And Dorcas says, to whom will you give it? He says, well, I don't know. Do you perhaps feel that money you have is not yours? Then he says, this is a funny feeling I have. Then Dorcas says, well, use it. Build an art gallery, collect pieces of beauty from everywhere, and let people enjoy them. An art gallery? My goodness, what good can art do for me and for people? And if you look at reality, life is built by food, property, money, sex, and pleasure. And he says, what else exists? So, well, why? That is why you cannot make someone really love you. Real love is attracted only to purity, my dear friends. Do we have real love in our lives? And real love is attracted only to purity, and purity is the strongest magnet. Do you have it? And he says, nonsense. Utter nonsense. And Dorcas says, yes, for you it is nonsense. And with all his richness, because he could not gain the love of his wife, he committed suicide. And one of the paths to the grave is to be rich without the sense of purity. And another friend, Dorcas quotes another example. He had another friend to whom people used to bring gifts for his birthday because of his position. He used to receive them gracefully, but with the spirit of indifference. And once, after everybody was happy with dancings and drinks and the music and everything, they told him to open his gifts. Then he said, what gifts? He said, I only receive gifts from those who do not give the gifts to themselves. And I receive gifts only from those who have pure love for me. Only pure love can give gifts. And there was a young millionaire who had inherited his wealth from his father. He enjoyed all that is possible for the physical body to enjoy. Still dissatisfied, he began to take drugs. And one day, not knowing what he was doing, he went into the ocean and swam far out and never came back. Days later, they found their body on the shore. And it is only on the foundation of purity that things are enjoyable on earth. This is how nature balances your life. A pure mind is needed to have pure action. A pure mind is geared in beauty, goodness, truth, and simplicity, and the four cornerstones of the temple of success. Some people will argue and say, if this is true, why are there so many criminals, so clever and healthy? The answer is, life is a long journey from the atom to the farthest stars. One life is only a step on that long path. And you do not see what will happen in the next step, but the law of cause and effect will never do a mistake. So, all our organs and mechanisms have their energy systems as their prototypes. The health of the organ rests upon the subjective and mental subtle mechanisms, my dear. And when they are used in the wrong way, they will influence the corresponding dense mechanism. Thus, one cannot use his guitar to carry water. Last treasure, my dear friends, for today. I will go a little bit overboard on the time because this has to be explained. The next treasure, the sixth treasure for today, the last treasure for today, is the sense of joy and enthusiasm. Joy is a great treasure. And where money and power fail, joy succeeds. And people think that joy is a feeling, is an emotion. No, it's not. It is something deeper. Without joy, all your possessions are heavy loads upon your heads and shoulders. And without joy, you're a slave of daily routine. Without joy, you're a beggar millionaire. And without joy, all that you have causes you suffering. And if you do not have joy, nothing belongs to you. And once Torgram's teacher pointed at an anteater and he said to him, "Do you see that fellow? He grew a long nose towards matter and a big body to serve it. He reminds me of a rich man trapped in matter. And he reminds me also of those whose faces never smile because of the burden of their wealth." Joy is spiritual abundance. And one can increase his joy through purity, through beauty. And he has another incident which happened to him. And he said, "I remember a church convention where the minister, chairman, and board members were stuck with the problem. And in the atmosphere of tenseness and negativity, a young girl stood up and sang a song of joy. And at first, the people looked at her as if she was a crazy person. But a few minutes later, tears came from their eyes. And the convention changed its direction and was adjourned in great success." Joy radiates out from a source that is charged with beauty, my dear friends, with the sense of universality, direction, righteousness, and purity. And beware, my dear friends, beware of all those who have no joy in their hearts. There is a decay in them. There's a sickness in them. There is conflict in them. They will never render good service in your firm or office. Are you a cheerful person? Cheerful from inside. Cheerful people always choose joy, my dear friends. Choose joyful people and you will be successful. And what is joyfulness? Joyfulness is optimism, is faith, is trust, is gratitude, is energy, is magnetism. And the secretary who has no joy will make continuous mistakes in his or her typing communication. A person who has no joy infects people with his petty problems and saps their vital energy. Do you complain? Do you crib? Do you hate? Are you jealous of people? Are you separatistic? That means you are not joyful. Observe the workers or a group of workers in any field, in your group, in your family, or anyone. A joyful person, like a dynamo, increases their productivity. A person who has no joy and is trapped in his self-pity hinders the productivity and creates unending problems. Self-pity, my dear friends, is the greatest hindrance to every person. Self-pity. We have so much of pity on ourselves. Oh, I have gone through this, I have gone through that, I have had so much of pain, I have so much of suffering. You create your own reality, my dear darlings. And one of the main duties of a wise leader is to choose joyful co-workers. Who you work with, are they joyful or not? Or, carefully and continuously train your own co-workers to cultivate joy. And joy clarifies our outlook, deepens our sense of discrimination, and gives balance and equilibrium in our judgment. Joy, my dear friends. And the secret of the resourcefulness of the great leaders in the world lies in the fact that their creative labor is performed with purest joy. Prosperity is a flower of joy. The presence of joy makes things clear. And there's an example also over here. So Torkham had a boss who had great joy in his heart. And Torkham once made a mistake and made him lose a great amount of money. And he knew that it was his mistake, but he acted joyful and happy. Does your boss do this? Oh, okay, you lost some money, it's okay, I'm happy, blah, 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 blah. No, he does not do that. And a few weeks later, the boss takes him on a picnic with his family. And as the family was preparing the lunch, both him and his boss went to the bank of river and he began to tell various jokes. Torkham knew that he was leading up to something, but he was too occupied with laughing. And after they were really saturated with laughter, he looked at his eyes and said, "Do not worry about your mistake. You lost some money, but someone else has it. Now let me tell you where you failed." And after everything was clear, He told another funny joke and said, "Let us go and help prepare the table." How would that be? And for the first time in his life, he saw a difference between understanding in a state of joy and understanding in a state of fear and anger. And he perceived that only in joy can people see things clearly and not create personal excuses or hindrances to cloud the facts. And the facts are received without painful emotions. Do you receive facts without painful emotions? He was a great man. He says, Storkham says, he passed away. When he passed away, there was a beautiful smile on his face. A joyful person spends his money in the right way. A joyful person does not create attachment to his possessions. He takes freely. He gives freely. Joy is a great treasure. And a person is poor if he has no joy. He spends his money for wrong ends. And the absence of joy is filled by depression, anger, fear, jealousy, greed, and these fellows always deceive us in the most important times in our life. Do all that you do with joy to increase the abundance of joy within you. If you complain while you are doing things or carry on your work with the spirit of rejection, you leak energy and eventually you become a car with flat tires. So, my dear friends, that is the last treasure of this day for today. Tomorrow we'll discuss 6 more. So my dear friends, that is spiritual abundance for today. We have covered 6 and we will cover 6 more tomorrow.